On the 1995 John Deere 8300 mechanical front-wheel drive tractor, the headlights are controlled by a 4-position, multi-function rotary switch on the side panel and the dimmer switch on the steering column. The lights designated as headlights are the 2 inner lights on the front of the hood above the radiator. They are dual-function high and low beam lights. The outer 2 lights are called the front floods and will be addressed separately. The multifunction rotary switch contains 5 4-position switches stacked on a common shaft. I imagine it looks similar to this. Although this is not exactly it, I think it's close enough representation to give you a good mental picture. On electrical schematic diagrams, it might be represented like this. The dimmer switch on the steering column is operated by pushing the turn signal lever forward or aft. It has detents in the forward position for high beam and in the center for low beam. When the switch is pulled towards you, it activates the flash to pass function, which lights the high beam lights as a signal only as long as you hold the lever in that position. On electrical system schematic diagrams, it might be represented like this. I'd like to point out a couple of things on the system schematic that are noteworthy. The multifunction rotary switch on the side panel is powered by the B+ 12-volt line through fuse F20, which means that power is available to the switch at all times independent of the ignition key switch position. This same B+ 12-volt power is available to the low beam and high beam relay contacts through fuses F41 and F42, and to the flash to pass contacts of the dimmer switch through fuse F19. With the rotary switch in the off position and the dimmer switch in the low beam detent, no current flows and no lights are lit. It might be a good idea to pause the video here and familiarize yourself with this diagram because I will reference it throughout the presentation. Let's start by moving the rotary switch from the off position to the first detent, which is the road position. As you can see, all of the contacts in the switch will move one position. Current available at the top set of contacts will now flow through the switch and down to the bottom set of contacts and out to the K2 low beam relay coil. The coil will pull in the contacts and current will flow to ground through the left and right low beam lights. Due to the arrangement of the top set of contacts and the bottom set of contacts in the switch, the low beam lights will be on whenever the switch is out of the off position. Note that when the switch is out of the off position, power will also be available to the dimmer switch through the bottom set of contacts. This means that if the turn signal lever is pushed forward into the detent, the high beam lights will light as long as it is left in the detent, and they will also light if it is pulled aft into the momentary flash to pass position. Since we are focusing on the headlight operation, we will ignore other functions of the rotary switch for the time being. It is worth noting that in the field 1 position of the switch, current will flow out through the center set of contacts in the switch and through diode block V1 and V2 to the high beam relay coil. The coil will pull in the contacts and current will flow to ground through the left and right high beam lights. Whenever the high beam relay coil is activated, current will also flow to ground through the high beam indicator light on the turn signal switch. When in the field 1 position, it will not appear that flash to pass or high beam is available through the dimmer switch because the high beam lights are already on. A copy of the simplified schematic shown in this video is available on request. Happy troubleshooting.